We're gonna try to build a puzzle box in less than an hour, and I don't know if it's gonna work. Like, I think it's gonna be trash, but we're gonna try it. So the first one I built took maybe a couple hours to design, and then each one was just a little bit more complicated, and I was like, how can I make that more complex and more complex and more complex? When I build stuff, it takes months to build. Yeah, I guess we're gonna make a lockbox. What are the rules? It has to be some kind of a puzzle, and I only get 1 hour. Do I get any time to like plan it out before I start building? So planning's part of the building, part of the hour. I might just literally forego like not sanding, not staining, not doing anything like that to get it built. Because staining and sanding by itself could take an hour. Oh, this is gonna be stressful. But it's only an hour. I could be stressed for an hour, right? Still got 10 fingers, so we're starting with 10 fingers. I think the mechanism's gonna take the longest because getting it so it's actually like considered puzzle, that's gonna be tricky, okay? Wait, is it starting right now? Okay, so I have some wood over here that I have, I think, I always keep the cutoffs, like, you know, the cutoffs like that, but it's already got like the groove, so I can use that as like the base of the box, and then the wood will sit in it like that. So it's already cut out. I'm cheating, I don't have time to cut all this stuff out. There's some pieces. Oh yeah, we're gonna have some. The hardest thing is, in my head, I'm trying to think of what the mechanism's gonna look like while I'm building the box. It's not gonna be huge. I can't make it too big. Like jewelry box, like I'm thinking because these pieces are already this size that it's gonna be something to do with that size. Jewelry box or like a little ring box, or it's not gonna be too complicated because just thinking out the mechanism is gonna take longer than, you know what? I just decided it's gonna be that big. Oh, those two aren't the same, hold on. Oh, that chunked it out too. Oops, bit of a time crunch here. So I've got to cut a piece of wood that's that width. Look how bent that is. It's twisty. That's good enough. So what I'm trying to do is make it so I've got to have a little bit of a, just on that side of it. See, that's the right length. So I got the, is it not gonna fit? Come on. So I've got the, now before I glue it together, I gotta make the mechanism, because sometimes putting the mechanism in, if it's all glued together, it'll be, oh, I just thought of something. I used to use these magnetic baby locks on everything, but they're tricky because you can't see them. I'm gonna use one. So there's the base, now I gotta figure out the top. For the top, I have enough of these little pieces, I could use one of these, so I could make it extra deep so it's actually big enough you could put something in there. But then I gotta think of where the mechanism's gonna catch. Hinges, I gotta find some hinges that'll work. Here's the problem I have with hinges. I have so many of them, they're all random. Haha, itty bitty ones. Random latches right here. Here's a random latch, that would work. Yep. I'm gonna use that one. So that's the mechanism right there. It's already built. If I had to build this, it would take way longer than an hour. Okay, so I've got to cut everything so it's that same width, and then I've got to add some girth onto that so that the hinge has something to hook onto. So I've got to put a bevel on these. I'm going to be matching this length here to 2 of these. Put a flat edge on them first. I added this in here so I don't have any gap right here, because usually there's a gap on these. I don't know why I'm explaining this. So that's those pieces. Now I've got to make these 2 this length. I don't think I've built anything in less than an hour. I set a new precedent for what I have to do from now on. So on the back side of this, because those hinges on the back side, I hate to have them just teeter-tottering on that thin wall, so I'm gonna add just a board on each side. It might be thick enough. That's the plan. We'll see how it works. Now that I got that, I've got to put that little channel here so that they groove together, but at the same time, I can cut this out because I already know how big that needs to be. The box itself is actually coming along pretty fast. I'm surprised, but it's because I had all those scrap pieces. See, never throw away your scraps. See, save that scrap. It's gonna save me someday. I've got piles of them. Look at that pile over there. Okay, so this jig right here, I designed. This is the one I'm trying to copy. And so it would come out to the edge right there. And then I've got to match the height of the blade. So you see, that's that height right there. And now, to get that same bevel on there, I just match that. We can take this in there. Let's see. You ever seen that forged in steel? I always feel bad for those guys that make these knives and they have like 3 hours to make a knife that should take 3 days. Forged in wood. That's coming together. I mean, it's not a pretty box, it's just a square thing, but getting the mechanism. Now I gotta figure out how to make the mechanism tricky. I haven't sanded any of these edges, so, but there's the lid. Oh, that's not deep enough. Is that much too long. I do hard stuff. Just take a little bit off there. Back into the shop. I try to keep all the dusty, nasty stuff on this side so I can film on that side. I have a fear that this isn't perfectly square. It'll work. And then I'll glue it the very last just in case I need. Tape measure. Where's my tape measure? I have so many tape measures. Gotta make sure. 7 3/4. 7 3/4 square. And then that'll go on there like that. And then I've got to figure out where the hinges are gonna go. I mean, it's not gonna be a pretty box. How this is gonna actually latch to keep it locked. And I know, so it's an actual puzzle. How is it gonna be a puzzle? I mean, it can't just have a hole in the top and it pokes up in that one hole. Maybe I could have holes all over it, so it's like you don't know which hole, but how does that a puzzle? You're just going and pushing stuff in all of the holes. I could have it so it has little feet on it, and then the feet, you take one of the feet out, and that's what you use as the poker. So I got these dowels. I need to get rid of all that crap over there. I'm gonna put this on top though, and it's gotta be pushed from the bottom though to unlock it. More puzzly if there's just a hole right there and you don't know what the hole's for. And I could have a magnet on here too holding it. All right, we got it. I could make it so it's like a skeleton key lock. Nah, I don't have time, dang it. So I gotta put a little bit of a space because I gotta bump it up, so I gotta get a piece of wood. Beautiful, scrap. So if that goes there, but what if this was inside of the foot? And so when the foot goes up inside of there and then you pull it out and it's a skeleton key and then you can, so finding the key is the puzzle, right? But then I would have to make a pivot point, so, cause you can't just have it go in, and I'm just gonna have it come from the bottom. I'm out of time, cause it's gotta come through. So the thing that pushes it has to go through all this length, come up and push it and be able to push to unlock that. And this is the top. I guess I don't have to have a foot. I could just have a piece. Where's the piece hidden? Where am I gonna hide this? I could hide this just inside of here, right underneath the hinges. Sure, this is tricky. Okay, so I've gotta come out 1 inch. So that's ½ inch. I like these Fosner bits here. They clean cut. Nice and clean. Sort of a fun challenge. Do a little bit of a trim on there so it's not, I don't have time to sand it up. But if that is gonna go on the top so it's not in the way if you're actually gonna hide something in your puzzle, then I've gotta figure out exactly where the hole has to go. I'm gonna mark it in here just where it's gonna go. I'm just gonna put a hole here and a hole there. And that hole needs to go. And this is naughty all there. Basically, I'm gonna have the key, which is this dowel that is gonna be used to pop up. Hinges are gonna go here, boom, boom, and then you'll be able to poke that out. That'll come out, you flip the box upside down and use that to poke up from the bottom to hit that lever. This is gonna be like a puzzle level 0. Okay, where are we at? I got my glue. I think I'm ready to glue. I've gotta put, so I've got magnets over here, because otherwise that thing's just gonna pop out. Where are my magnets at? No, I've got magnets somewhere. Where did I put them? That's probably my biggest issue, is just having stuff scrambled everywhere. It might be right here. So I've got magnets here. This one here. That's the one. Perfect. Got it. Now, if I put that magnet indented right there, then I can just put a piece of metal on here somewhere and that'll hold that in place. So that's gotta go there. How big of a size is that? That's a ½ inch too, probably. And it's about what, that deep? So I've got resin, this 5-minute resin that should glue it in pretty good. Where's my little bucket that I mix my stuff on? Just put a little dab of that, a little dab of that. And I've got these toothpicks. Just mix it up real quick. And then put a healthy amount. Problem is this stuff really doesn't stick to certain types of metal very good, so that might be an issue actually. That's perfect. Okay, so now I gotta glue everything together. I'm not gonna get too crazy, I'm just gonna put glue on the edges here. Boom, boom. I'm afraid that magnet's gonna fall out. I'll put some tape on there. Should be dry in 5 minutes, but those 5 minutes can really mess up some stuff. I think we got it now. what was it, 7 3/4? That's good. That's the top, so I can glue that on there. I always use a smaller container. That glue dry. It doesn't dry, but it sets pretty quick. It goes that way. Like I said, I'm just gonna put glue on the edges. This is not gonna be a strong box. And all these little marks, they're just gonna have to live in there forever. They always shine through the stain. Usually when I glue stuff together, I'll put it together like this, and then just so that for sure they're square at least to each other, but I don't have time for that. And then this guy's gonna go right here. I think it's gonna go all the way to the edge right there. That's the latch, and I cheated because it's already pre-built. I like building the mechanisms. That's my favorite part. And then this one's gotta go right here somewhere. Oh, and that's not gonna hold, so I gotta glue that better. Pitiful. That's not gluing as quick as I need it to. So that's gotta go in the center. I've gotta put a little mark, and then I gotta drill like a screw or something metallic so it stays in there on this so that it goes to the magnet. So I've got my plethora of random screws, so it's gotta go in there somewhere, and then, beautiful, right? It's not great, but it'll work. And then I've got to get that screwed or drilled for these little guys. Little screws are weird because they usually just strip out, so you have to pre-drill them, and then you have to be all tender when you put them in. The latch is too big. It might just pop off. No, it'll work. Okay, and then the hinges. So usually when I do the hinges, I will bend it over like that so it's at the right level. I used to work for a guy that absolutely demanded that you mark everything before you cut it. Because most people, when they go to make a cut, they'll just do like a, you know, and you know that that's your spot. And then you had to put what side it was gonna be cut on. This is gonna be on this side. Usually I'll engrave these so they're flush. So when it's shut, you'll see when I put this on, there's gonna be a bit of a gap. They should latch. I might go back. I usually use a drill on this, but then, like I said, I usually waller them out, so using the little hand screwer is probably better anyways. If I have enough time, I'm gonna go and knock these down so I can, so it'll sit flat. So it's sort of sit flat. It's a little bit, it's like a 32nd off right there. Oh yeah, see that gap? That's the gap that kills, the murder gap. Maybe I could take it down. Let's see how much time I have when I get the latch on. So the latch is going to be like that. So it's got to be just barely sticking up here. The cool thing is that's adjustable too, so I can put it up and down if it's in the wrong spot. This, see how it's elongated hole? It's adjustable. I could slide it up or down depending on what it needs. And I need a screw that's not too long, otherwise it'll stick out. You know what? That's probably gonna work right there. Usually I would do the domed one. So just a little guy. Yeah, that'll work. Ah, where's my drills? Good enough. See if it locks. Oh, look. See how unstraight it is? That needs to come over like a whole 1/8 of an inch. But it does lock. Now, does it unlock? Oh, nuts. What am I doing wrong? There we go. Oh, so it's not too far this way. So I need to sand it out a little bit. I should use the Dremel on this so it doesn't chunk it out. And then you would take this out, flip it over, go in there, and that pushes the lever that opens it. Nice and easy. But I mean, there's so many like flaws and stuff with it. How much time do I have? 7 minutes. I really want to chunk those out really quick. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do it. I'm not gonna be able to do it in 7 minutes. Magnets are dry. Man, I'm trying to think how I could do that quicker. I'm gonna put this right here. It's not pretty. And I guess I could actually spray the inside. Have a little hand Dremel. Yeah, just want to make it so that thing goes in just a little smoother. Oh, I could paint this piece. Don't fall over, don't fall over. How much time do I have?
3:50.
Ah, shoot. I'll get it out of the way real quick while that's drying. Yeah, I'm gonna let it dry. You know what I could do too? I could smash those hinges so they actually are a little flatter. So, I figured out if I did this, so when those close, you see that gap? That's what the gap is right there. Yeah. So if I take that and put it in here and I smash that, I might be able to get that gap a little bit smaller. And then everything's sticky from the sealer. It's not gonna change the gap by much, but it's just enough. Might make it look just a little bit better, and it'll make these two, the hole line up better with the latch. How much time are we at? Ah! Boom. Time. We should just retitle it the ugliest, easiest to solve puzzle box in the entire world. See, it helped the gap by just a little bit. Boom. I did not think I'd be able to do that. Now I gotta sign it. Boop. My nephew and his buddy came and challenged me to build a puzzle box in 1 hour. Now they've challenged me to build one in 1 day, and so I gotta think about it a little bit more. I gotta plan it out a little bit more. I know what's coming now. Yeah, if you guys have any ideas for themes that I should do the next puzzle box, the day-long puzzle box, let me know.
I'm so confused. Can I get a hint? Oh, wait.